We go through a lot of garlic in my house. Like, seriously, a lot. Now, I get it. Not everyone uses garlic like they're warding off a whole army of vampires. And hey, I can respect that, kind of. But if you're not into garlic, you might not realize just how powerful and versatile this little bulb is.
And even if you are a garlic lover, you might not know why garlic behaves the way it does in your kitchen. Here's the thing, no matter which side of the great garlic debate you're on, understanding a bit of garlic's chemistry can totally change how you cook with it. This is Esculenta Science. Garlic's bold, polarizing flavor comes mostly from a compound called allicin, which, fun fact, isn't actually in garlic. At least not until you cut it. When garlic's sitting there minding its own business, its chemistry is calm and separate. You've got an amino acid called alliin in one part and an enzyme called alliinase in another. But the moment you crush, chop, or slice that clove, boom, those two meet and alliinase converts odorless alliin into allicin, that strong sulfur-packed compound we know and love. In nature, this is garlic's defense system, a chemical shield to stop pests from munching on it. So it's no wonder it hits so hard in the kitchen. But here's the secret. You can control that chemistry. You can tune garlic's flavor from, whoa, that's strong, to, that's sweet. If you're chasing that weapon's grade garlic flavor, the kind that punches you right in the taste buds, the trick is simple. Break more cells. Mince it. Smash it. Use a mortar and pestle. Or, if you're feeling bold, grab a microplane. The more you break it down, the more alliin and alliinase mix, and the more allicin you create. But here's the catch. Allicin is unstable. It starts breaking down almost as soon as it's made. So if you want max garlic power, use it right away. And keep it raw, because heat breaks allicin down even faster. Now, when allicin does break down, it doesn't vanish. It transforms into a whole range of other sulfur compounds. Fruity, nutty, meaty, creamy. That's how cooked garlic gets its deep, mellow, layered flavor. So if you want complexity instead of intensity, first let the allicin form. Then cook it down to mellow it out. For the sweetest, mildest garlic flavor, you've got to diffuse the bomb before it goes off. Heat whole cloves gently to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius. That temperature denatures the alliinase enzyme before it can meet alliin, meaning no allicin and no harsh sulfur punch. What you get instead? Pure sweetness. Garlic actually has as much natural sugar as a sweet potato. But careful, garlic burns fast. With all that sugar and so little water, it can go from sweet to bitter in seconds. And then there's garlic powder. I'll admit, I used to dismiss it until I learned the science. When garlic powder is made, the cloves are sliced, creating a bit of allicin. Then they're dried, which gives that allicin time to break down into gentler, varied compounds. Drying also deactivates the alliinase temporarily, so when the slices are ground, alanine and alliinase sit together. But nothing happens, yet. When you finally sprinkle garlic powder into something wet, boom! Water reactivates the enzyme, and the reaction starts again. It's not as powerful as fresh garlic, but it's still got that chemistry magic. Convenient, controlled, and surprisingly complex when you know how to use it. Once you understand these reactions, you can play with them, fine-tune them, layer them. You can bring out sharpness, sweetness, depth, whatever you want. And this applies not just to garlic, but to its cousins too. Onions, leeks, shallots, all part of the same chemical family. So go experiment, have fun, and maybe fall in love with garlic all over again. There's a whole world of flavors, textures, and food mysteries waiting to be discovered, and it's tastier than you think. So, subscribe now and hit the bell to stay with us.